I wanted to have a beer like you guys did with Corey, but I don't have any beer. So I'm
Oh,
drinking
that's
a
fine.
V8
A
sparkling
V8?
energy. This stuff is
Damn.
the bomb.
Thank you for being a pal.
Hey pals, and welcome back to another episode of PentoolPals, a friendly graphic design podcast between two graphic designers. My name is Cole from Cole F Design.
I'm Cam from Campus Design Company. Welcome back again to the 10th episode. Holy shit.
Number 10, wow. Holy shit.
Yeah, dude.
I didn't even recognize.
It's so funny how like quickly it just blows past. Like, I've talked about it before. We planned this for like 2 months and now we're like 10 weeks in. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, 10 episodes. That means 10 weeks. Holy shit. And then, yeah, we had a couple, we probably had a month or two of planning before that. So it's kind of like a long time progression. And I love how it's evolved so far. We've had a couple great guests now. We're adding onto that train today. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But seeing this podcast evolve to what it's been and be this open community of friendly graphic designers, just chatting, having an open conversation about, what we do on a daily basis, what's on our desk, what our goals and what we're looking to do in the future of graphic design is all super cool things.
Yeah, man. Like I've noticed the way I'm working is changing with, how, these interviews go. I wouldn't even call them interviews. We're just like talking and making friends really. But it's like, I realized that my workflow and how I go about organization and all that stuff is changing based off of our conversation. So even I'm becoming like a way better designer than I thought I was. Like I didn't have my shit together as much as I thought before. But hearing how Brooks and Corey and John have gone about doing their routines and their work structure, it's like, dude, I'm just taking bits and pieces, and I hope other people are too, because this is just you and me having conversations, and I'm learning, I'm adapting, and I think that's that's the point of people listening to podcasts, is especially a learning platform like this, to where it's like we're just trying to be better designers. That's the goal, right?
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. And I know you're not alone. Like I'm sure, and even myself, anyone watching this podcast is seeing, different graphic designers each have their own merit in their own way, like basically just talking to us about their progress, what they've done, and how they work and their workflow, and like being able to take the pieces of the best can make yourself a better designer as well. So
for sure.
this has been so fun doing this with you, and like I'm just stoked to keep the ball rolling.
Yeah, man, I keep saying this, but this is seriously the most fun thing I've done in a long time. Since I quit my day job and the shit became real. It's good to kind of disconnect for a little bit and talk shop, and it's super fun. So
I've seen now that the Pal of the Week pod has now grown and is catching on. It's super awesome to see everyone get involved and submit their artworks. Please, as many people out there, if you want to get involved, this is the best way to do it. Go ahead and create some sort of artwork themed with PentoolPals. We got an awesome submission the other week from Scout Lib. Her name is Kate. She made an awesome artwork, and we had just posted that and given her an artist spotlight. So, keep reaching out, keep showing us your work. We love to hear from you, and see what you got.
Yeah, see what you got. And Kate, I'm sorry, I have said on the podcast multiple times, Scout Lil BB, because I can't read apparently, and so it's Scout Lib, not Scout Lil BB. My apologies. Today our guest is Zach Newton of Newton Design Company. He is a pal of mine for the last year and a half, maybe 2 years. We've just been following each other on Instagram for a while, and one day he was like, "You're a YMH fan?" And then we started just kind of shooting shit off and on, throwing Your Mom's House podcast references at each other. And then we started ordering each other's merch and whatnot. So I'm rocking I'm
Oh,
rocking
sick.
a Z Newton shirt today.
Oh, I'm very jealous.
Yeah, man, I'm super stoked. He's got an insane amount of knowledge of the industry. He works for Hallmark, and so he's the senior designer at Hallmark. So all of those cheesy cards are him, the artwork anyway. But then, yeah, he goes from his day job and he goes home and he just crushes it for Newton Design Company, his own design studio. And yeah, I'm super stoked to have him on today. Ladies and gentlemen, Zach Newton. Woo! Yeah.
I thank you.
Good,
Thank
my
you.
man.
Oh, you know, everything and nothing at all.
Everything. Hell yeah. So in honor of having you, my friend, I wore your t-shirt, your merch.
Yeah, I appreciate
You
that.
still
Very
do you still
cool.
have these?
I think I've got like 2 of those left.
Well, everybody who's watching, first 2, go buy that shirt.
Yeah,
New,
newtondesignco.com/shop, I think is what it is.
yeah. Well, cool, man. So I'm happy to have you on the pod. Cole is as well. He was telling me the other day that he's followed you for a while as well. So it's cool that, yeah, it's cool we're having you on here today.
Yeah, there was one design that I found in particular that I was like, wow, this guy is amazing. And I think led me on to following you like a while back, I think over a year ago when I was just starting. So you were probably the first, maybe like hundreds that I had started to follow. And you had made
nice.
The freelance isn't free graphic with
Yeah.
the eagle. I thought that one was just killer, man.
I appreciate that. Yeah, that's the one that kind of, I don't know, like really put me on the map on Instagram anyway. And from there, everything's just kind of built. So yeah, that one post kind of blew things up for me. So
hell yeah.
We were talking about that the other week.
Also,
like, you remember, Cam, how we were saying that like once Instagram kind of finds you and it bites, right? And you get that bite and it starts putting you on everything. I think that was, that was the start of it for you, which is,
for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
I remember I started following you because of the freelance isn't free stuff too. And then you followed me back and I was like, oh, all right.
Yeah. I'm not, I don't know. I feel like some people on Instagram, they feel like they got too many followers to follow, somebody like me. So
yeah, exactly.
I don't give a shit how many people follow you or you follow whatever. If your work's good, I follow it.
Yeah, exactly. So that's how I feel. And it's mainly like if people get offended and they unfollow and stuff like that, because it's like I have nothing and owe you nothing. But it's like if your work's good and I like it, and I'm interested in it, I'll follow. But if I know you, I'll follow. And if I think you're funny, I'll follow you. It's like
I feel like it's a double-edged sword because I've kind of stopped posting a whole lot lately just because I feel like the algorithm changes every month and I can't keep up with it. And I get really disappointed if I post something that I really like and it gets like 100 likes.
Yeah.
I'm like, God damn it.
Dude,
So
there was one point where some of my posts were getting like, and I have a lower following, but my artwork was getting like 200 to 300 likes. And that's when I wasn't even good. and now it's like my artwork is like subpar, but like it's getting like 50 likes and sometimes it breaks my heart. We were talking about with Corey Miller and it's like, we shouldn't measure our artwork performance by the amount of likes we get, but still it kind of hurts. Like
it does. It stings a little, but I don't know. Like I said, it's a double-edged sword because I get a lot of work through Instagram. So just grin and bear it and just keep going.
Yeah, I would agree. And I like, even for myself, there was a point in time where I kind of got that Instagram bite, and like I remember that I posted something and it was seen by over 100,000 people, and I was just like, that is just unfathomable, right? And I was getting over like 3,000 likes on a post. I didn't even know that was really possible, and then all of a sudden, a couple weeks later, each post was getting like 100, 200 likes.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
compared to that, I was just like, what went wrong? And I think I posted something that made them mad or like angry, which got me to be like on the blackball list. I don't know what. And so I looked back at it, and it was like, I think I want to pinpoint it to this one design that I'd made, the joke out of the gender reveal fires out here in California. I don't know if you know about it. So I did like a Smokey the Bear graphic, and he's like, it's and he's like reading a paper, and it's like, it's a fire, like it's a boy or a girl, And I put the post article like on the news like right afterwards, and after that it was like all downhill. And now I really like I still think I'm blackballed, honestly. I don't know what happened, but now it's coming to a point where you just keep up with Instagram to like you said, to get clients, or like just to keep active. I don't focus as much on the followers or the whatever, as long as we're stoked on the work and producing something that we're proud of.
For sure.
Yeah. And at this point, like with working from home, I've been working from home for a year and 3 months now. Because I work, like my day job, I design cards for Hallmark.
Oh yeah.
I was gonna say, will you tell us like a little bit more about your your day-to-day life, and like what's it like working at your real job, or what you want to call it, a corporate job, versus what you do at home for Newton Design?
Yeah, so like in the before times, I would get up
like in prehistoric days.
Get up and drive to work like an hour in the morning, work for 8.5, 9 hours, come home, hour and a half drive after work usually. So like, and then I'd come home, eat supper, play with the kids, spend a little time with the family, and then jump right on the freelance stuff, and then work till 11 or 12, go to bed, do the same thing the next day. So like with the working at home, it's been really nice just to not have a commute every day.
Yeah, you just saved 3 hours. You just added 3 hours to your work day.
Yeah, and it, like with any corporate job, you're not busy 9 hours a day. Like you're not just hammering through 9 hours a day, 5 days a week. Like that's just not the way it is. Well, where I work anyway. Being at home, like over my lunch hour or whatever, I can jump over and start working on a little freelance stuff, get something going. And if I had finished my Hallmark work for the day, then I'll just jump over and, do an hour on freelance, jump back over to Hallmark, stuff like that. So I love working from home. It's made it a lot easier. And it's going to be so tough when they want us to come back.
I could imagine.
It's going to be rough. But
Father Hallmark is going to come through your computer and drag you back to the building.
So but that's just kind of like the day to day. But like what I do for Hallmark right now, I'm on the kids team. So I design cards for little kids, which if you look at my Instagram and then compare what I do for my day job, it would
satanic panic, baby. I've seen it and I've thought about it. I'm like, what a ass backwards day you have. You go from lighthearted kid stuff to satanic panic graphics.
Oh yeah. That's it's like I have to do that kind of stuff so I don't lose my mind, I'm drawing like little bunny rabbits with Easter baskets and putting glitter on all this stuff. And then,
man, if I could ever put more of the little kids going, yay, it's gonna be right now. Hell yeah.
But yeah, it's a good job. I've been there.
Yeah, how'd you go about landing that, and how long have you been there?
Okay, so I went to college. I went to the University of Kansas for illustration, and then in my last year there, one of my instructors was like, hey, if you want to get like a good job out of school, you should jump over and major in graphic design. So I ended up being a dual major for my last 2 years of college, which I don't recommend to anyone. It's the
Sounds
worst,
like a nightmare.
worst thing you could ever do. Plus I was working like 3 part-time jobs to pay for school and all that kind of stuff. So I had no, my college experience was just working. So
Yeah.
I didn't do anything else. We have at KU, every year they'd have a senior show where we'd set up in this event space, set up our portfolio stuff, and businesses from around Kansas City or, you know, Wichita, places like that would come check out our stuff. And, you know, that's how we networked. So that's where I met a rep from Hallmark. Actually, my junior year, they let me participate in the senior show. My junior year, Hallmark tried hiring me. And I was like, nah, I just want to finish school. You know, I'm this far in.
Yeah.
I spent this much money on school. I might as well, you know, get that piece of paper.
Yeah, no shit.
So like the next year, we opened the senior show at like 6:30, and at 6:35, the same guy from Hallmark was back asking me if I still wanted to work there. So
yeah.
I was like, yeah. Hallmark that's where I wanted to work since I was a little kid. I sent a portfolio to them when I was in like 5th grade.
No shit. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was this guy that he was a friend of my mom, and that, you know, I just put it in a manila envelope. It was like drawings of like shack and graffiti brick walls and stuff, you know.
Hell yeah.
Sent it to him, you know, care of Hallmark or whatever, and he sent me a nice letter back saying, you know, keep it up, and one of these days we might work together, haha, whatever. Well, the first day I started back in 2005, I found that guy. He was still working there, and we had a nice chat about that. So
that must
cool.
have been like the best fucking feeling, man.
Yeah, it was awesome. But yeah, I've been working there now for almost 16 years. I was in the licensing design department for the first 10 years. So I just worked with any licensed characters, you know, Mickey Mouse, Bugs Bunny, Superman, all that stuff that we do.
Sick.
Yeah, so that was a good experience.
You could probably draw Superman and all them like from memory, huh?
No,
No.
they're really protective of their properties, so they don't just let you draw them.
Gotcha.
You have to use style guides and stuff.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I can draw Mickey Mouse, maybe. That's about it.
Hell yeah.
Well,
You're not one of those Disneyland illustrators that you can just go up and creepily stand behind and watch them.
Yeah.
I think that it's super interesting to hear from you and your job at Hallmark versus, you know, a freelancer full time or whatever, you know. I'd love to hear a bit more about your preference and what it's been like doing freelance on top of it, and if you could do it all over again, you know, would you go to the corporate job, or would you do freelance full time, or is there, you know, a mix right now? It seems like you've kind of found your groove in.
Yeah. If I could go back and do everything different, I think most people would rather just work for themselves rather than have a corporate job. I feel like most people in the creative industry like us would rather have that. At the same time, it's nice to know where your money's come from every month, you know? So it's a good give and take. Like I said, I've been there quite a while, so I've established a pretty good reputation in the company. So with that comes a lot of different opportunities to work in different departments and stuff like that, special projects and all that kind of stuff. But you know, every once in a while you get that idea like, man, I think I could do this. I think I could do this on my own, you know, but it's just different. You know, I'm married, I've got 2 kids. I've got to look out for what's best for my family. And right now that's what it is, like working the corporate 9 to 5 and then doing my thing on the side for some extra money. So
yeah, man. So as designers, you know, we every once in a while we get to work with like pretty high profile people or companies or brands. Cole, he does like Element skateboards, and you know, in that world of things. Zach, you and I have tapped into the comedy world.
Yeah.
You have designed some stuff for Ryan Sickler. I've designed stuff for Tom Segura. How did you get connected with Ryan Sickler?
I'm pretty good buddies with the dudes at Upstate Merch in New York. So Dylan, I did a graphic pack for them, or flash sheet, whatever you guys call it, for Upstate.
Yeah. Shout out to Upstate Merch.
Upstate Merch, they're great.
Do you want to sponsor the podcast? Yeah, that also True Grit Texture Supply. We're coming for you.
Yeah.
Yes. But yeah, so I have kind of just fell into this cool relationship with Dylan and those guys there. And they of course do a lot of merch for comedians. So he kind of hooked me up with the Sickler gig, which I love. Ryan Sickler, I think he's one of the funniest out of that kind of genre, that generation.
He's hilarious.
Love that guy.
Honeydew Podcast, shout out.
Oh, Honeydew, I did a lot of merch for them. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, that's how I got to hook up with that. And then I did more recently some stuff for what's her name? Sarah Weinshank. She goes by Princess Shank on Instagram. She's another stand-up comedian. It's fun stuff. They're just fun people to work with. And I heard another one of my designer friends, I won't say who, but when I posted that Sickler stuff on Instagram, he sent me a message and was like, holy shit, he is the pickiest client I've ever worked with. I don't know how you got him to go for all these designs. I was like, thanks.
Yeah. Dude, that's awesome. That's super awesome.
So, yeah, it's cool. It's fun to work with them. I don't know.
Yeah.
It makes you feel like podcasting. Cam, you know this obviously, but we're watching a podcast and they're wearing your merch or they're advertising your merch. Because when you started doing stuff for Segura, I was like, holy shit, I know that guy. Oh my God, I cannot believe this. I was going nuts. I was telling my wife, I was like, oh my God, go ahead. Do you know On Your Mom's House, And she's like, that stupid podcast you watch? I was like, yeah. My buddy Cam, who sent me this stuff, he did designs for them. And she's like, that's so cool. You should try to do that. I'm like, no. Cam's got it covered. He's all covered.
Why not? No, why wouldn't you? No, I was lucky enough to do a design, probably 11 or 12 designs for him last year. Yeah. And the guy he's going to now is just murdering it, man. This guy is so good. And I've always looked at it this way. I don't get offended when people go to other people for graphic work.
Yeah.
They come to me for a certain thing, and I did that, and you're looking for another thing. You would be able to crush ideas with Tom. I guarantee you.
So the other designer I always see doing stuff for him is Zach Shuda. Do you see his stuff too? The turkey slicer.
Yeah, I have that shirt. I have that shirt where it's Tom holding the pack of turkey. Yeah, God, I have that one.
I feel like Cam and we kind of are in that same vein of it's almost like expanded merch design. Even the logos that we make, I feel like are more geared towards merch design.
Yeah. 100%.
Cole, I feel like Cole, and no offense to you, Cam, but I feel like Cole is on such a higher level than both of us.
I agree. 100%.
I can't believe you think that. No.
Oh no, man.
We're
so
cutting
good.
that. We're cutting that. Thank you.
No.
No way. That's insane. That's insane.
No, Cole.
I'm so honored. I'm so honored by the compliment, honestly, especially from someone that I think so highly of, you. And then so to hear it back is like, it's like, shut up.
Yeah. Yeah. No, cool, man. There's a real smoothness to your work that is so eye-catching that, designers like, Zach and myself, we get kind of messy. And you're right. It's kind of like even our logos are kind of geared towards merch.
Yeah.
I've tried to dumb it down. I try to dumb it down all of the time, but I can't help myself with logos to kind of, put a little bit more and maybe a little bit too much, and, try to pack in all those ideas that, our wild clients have. But yeah, Cole, there's a smoothness and a simplicity to your logo style and even your illustration style that's just really, really attractive, man.
Thank you. I mean, I appreciate the compliments like more than you guys know, especially coming from two artists that I think so highly of. So yeah, thank you guys.
Cheers.
And I'm looking at your artwork right now,
Oh,
Zach,
what you
and I mean, like,
what you sipping on?
I wanted to have a beer like you guys did with Corey, but I don't have any beer. So I'm drinking a V8 sparkling energy.
Damn.
This stuff is the bomb.
Really?
Holy cow. It tastes like strawberry pop, but it's not bad for you.
Okay.
So
funny, man.
I was not expecting that. I was expecting like maybe you got like a liquid death or a White Claw can or something like that, but a V8.
I'm not that cool. I like my V8s.
No, dude, you were even cooler to me now, my friend.
I was just checking out some of your artwork, like on your page, and I'd love to kind of scroll through some on the podcast if you don't mind. It's funny because you were saying how my style is very clean, but I think you're also a super versatile designer. Like you have some stuff that's really sketchy, but then you also have stuff that's pretty locked up. Like I think, for example, like this is badass, dude.
Yeah, that's badass.
And do you draw all this in like Illustrator? Do you have an iPad? Do you have a preference on?
Yeah, I do pretty much everything on my iPad.
Okay.
Some of the stuff like for the lettering, like I'll kind of rough it out in Illustrator, just so I kind of get the arcs and stuff right.
Yeah.
And then I'll go in and kind of just make it my own, trace over it or whatever, make it my own.
For sure.
I would also say that you have a true talent of being an illustrator. I don't think that I have that same talent where like I can just tell when someone comes up with something like from their head versus like uses a reference online, and both have merit, but like finding like a skull that's like in, or a skeleton that's in this pose, like it won't happen, right? So like you're coming up with this structure, and like you can't find some bird in a bird cage like this. Like this is the talents of an illustrator.
It's a little bit of this and that, I guess. So like that particular skeleton, I was like, I don't even know what bones skeletons have. I don't know what's going on. There's an app that I have on my iPad. I think it's called Skelly, and it's like a wireframe skeleton, and you can just pose it however you want.
I need that.
I'm writing it down right now.
Let me double check here so I'm not telling you the wrong info.
I need that so badly.
Same.
Yeah, it's called Skelly, Skelly.
Cool.
But yeah, it's great for reference and stuff. So that one for Burrow Supply. They're out of New York. I've done a ton of work for them. Cool. But that's one of my favorites because he incorporates like all of his concepts. He's got so many great concepts to work with. I love working with the guy. but that Manhattan Keep on Making It, that's from Mos Def song. So he incorporates a lot of like hip hop elements into his
Very
ideas.
Nice.
So I really like working with that guy.
This top one was the image I was referring to.
Yeah.
Which honestly is like one of my favorite designs I've like seen on Instagram, like still to this day.
Oh, thanks,
I want to scroll to it.
Yeah.
I mean, like, this thing is just, it's like perfect in all of its imperfections,
Yeah. Like, I forget why I drew that up. I think it was in reaction to a guy wanting me to do like his YouTube branding for exposure.
Yeah.
That's the best question, or we hear it too often, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But just like all right, it's almost like a double thing, right? Where you have this freelance isn't free. It's like supposed to be this really like big and grandeur like badge, right?
Yeah.
And then you have pay up bitches isn't a hobby. Like it's so perfect. It's just I loved it the second I saw it.
Me too, man. I remember seeing it, and it was almost like it almost empowered me as an artist and to like speak up for myself and more. I'm already a loudmouth, but I think that this just added that much more fuel to my fire of being like, no, you fucking SoundCloud rapper, like I'm not gonna do it for exposure or whatever. Like go to your homie who can obviously do better than me. Nah.
Yeah. Like I said, that thing really took off. I made t-shirts from it and all that. And it's cool. It's been fun.
Born to Ruin.
Born to Ruin is
it's
I think I might have those are actually sold out. I don't have any more.
Nice.
But yeah, the Born to Ruin stuff, that's kind of another little company I started for my merch stuff, like my t-shirts, they're all Born to Ruin or Hometown Hustle is the ones that I do. Yeah, it's fun.
It's this one.
I'd love to know.
Oh well, the screen's taking up, but this is the shirt I'm wearing, guys.
I'd love to hear, how you developed your colorways, or is it something that you've drawn to for a long time, or
black and gold. I love the look of that, of black and gold together. I just always have. I grew up in the Kansas City area, but I've always been a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. So like it's that black and gold, I think that's where it came from. And I kind of, I forget how long ago it was. I just switched over doing everything in black and gold for Instagram. And the funny thing is, a lot of clients, when I send them sketches and stuff, they'll be like, can you do this in that black and gold, like on your Instagram?
Yeah. Well, that's the best, right? That's when someone recognizes your talent and then wants something just like it. Compliment exactly.
So Zach, tell us a little bit on how you started Newton Design Company, how you came up with the name. Obviously it's your last name, but how did you make the decision kind of going forward that you wanted to start your own like little design firm, design studio?
So the short answer would be money.
Word.
Now I started Newton Design Company like right out of college, because I needed that little bit of extra money, because I bought a house as soon as I got a job because I'm dumb. So that mortgage payment was a lot more than they told me it was going to be. So I just had to have a little extra scratch. But back then, like I didn't focus on it that much because I thought, I got this full-time job. I'm making this good paycheck every, 2 weeks or whatever. And I didn't focus on it that much. Like Cole, what you said earlier about if I could go back and do it again, like I can't imagine where I'd be right now if I would have focused on Newton Design Company more back then instead of just kind of skating through with the corporate job. But it got more serious definitely when I got married, and then especially you know, when my son was born.
Yeah.
So that was I guess it was about 7.5, 8 years ago. My wife and I, she didn't go back to work after Hank was born. So she became a stay-at-home mom. And I was like, we can do this if we can just make a little extra money on the side. So we started a sign painting business. So we would do like custom painted signs for people and for businesses. There was a lot of that like Pinterest live, laugh, love kind of shit, but we got to do a lot of cool stuff too.
Hell yeah.
But then it kind of got to the point where I was like, I can't be like sawing and drilling and hammering, making these signs out in the garage when Hank's asleep and he was a baby. So he's sleeping, you know, 10 hours a day or whatever. So that's when I kind of revamped everything for Newton Design Co. And I made a website and just started really diving into that. And like in the beginning, I didn't know how to go about like getting clients and stuff. I wasn't doing anything on Instagram yet. I committed the cardinal sin of doing like 99 designs and stuff like that just to get my portfolio built up. Sites like that, 99 designs and Fiverr and all that kind of stuff, they it feels like they just cheapen what we do.
Very much. And now Canva has like commercials and shit, and I'm just like, I can't like this, and this is just me riffing, but like it teaches people unhealthy ways to treat your designer when you actually decide to invest, because it's like, I won't name names, but someone I worked with last year had me edit some stuff for banners that she was working on, and she made them in Canva, and it just untaught her how to use the files that I gave her the year before. And I think that's just like a more common thing nowadays. It's like people want the cheaper route, and then when they don't get what they want because they don't understand that, you know, the reason your logo and your design looks so unique is because you paid a designer to do the job in a unique way. When you go to these websites, you get some bunk generic ass looking thing.
Someone else, and then they're too, you know, you have people with the same sort of design out there. It's like it gets under my skin. I had some like even to the levels that we are today. Like I had someone literally laugh at me like through an email, like was like, ha ha ha, I would never pay you this. Like I've been doing this for 40 years, and like I'll just do it myself. And you know, I just like sit there. I'm just like, then do it. You know, go. I didn't ask for you to laugh at me. Like you asked me my rate. You know, I'm happy to help you with this project. If you don't want that help, then you know that's your right. Go on.
Get fucked, bud. It's like this unhealthy way of treating artists is just a common thing. To where it's like, do you think I'm gonna pay you for chicken scratch? Like that's kind of what sometimes it seems like. But it's like, dude, graphic design and art, they literally make every business and the world go round. There is a designer that did every little thing as we drive down the fucking street. And you know, we're just treated as if like, oh, that's just whatever. That's a whatever job.
If I learned anything as a freelancer, it's to demand what you feel you're valued as and stick with it. Because if someone doesn't want to pay it, there is going to be another person who does. And I've realized that I'd way rather not stretch myself thin doing 100 designs a week for cheap and then making 10 designs a week, right?
Yeah.
Demanding a much higher value, so that I might be producing less, but I feel like my quality is going to be higher, and my daily, like, my morale is better. You know, I'm more excited to make a design. Price is everything. Find what that price is for yourself. Demand it, stick to it, and like, don't let anyone tell you that they don't fucking want to pay it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
For sure.
I mean, I kind of like, I don't argue with potential clients, but I always give them kind of a reference. Like, if you wanted to install a new toilet and the plumber gave you a quote, would you pay it, or would you just try to do it yourself and have shit everywhere?
Yep.
So it's up to you.
That's a really good reference.
I love that one.
Yeah. I've heard other ones, but I think that one takes the cake for the best way to explain something. Do you want shit everywhere?
Is that what you want?
You got shit on your shirt now, dude.
I've learned a lot, like Cole was saying, like, you find a price range and you try to stick to it. I still don't know where I'm at on price range. I don't know if I'm too low, too high. So with pricing, like, I'm still exploring, like, what is my actual price range? Because what it used to be is crazy laughable. Like, for what I used to charge for logos, it's ridiculous. Like, I would never charge that little money now to do a logo. I mean, even for my brother, I'd charge him more than that.
Yeah.
I'm right there with you. I think for anyone starting, no one knows what price to start with. No one does. It wasn't until a few years later where I'm in the position I am now, where I had just steadily rose my pricing until I started hearing people say like I was getting no business with people just like saying this price, too much business at this price, and then you found that middle.
Yeah, so my buddy Sean, he's in a band called Phineas, so he kind of like does art and the band as like everything. And so I remember this is the conversation that kind of changed my perspective on pricing. Is I wasn't that good, so he was just flattering me. But I told him I was charging $50 for a design, and it blows my mind that at one point I used to charge that much. But he told me straight up, he's like, "What are you doing? Like, you're too good to be not making money at this." Which, again, he was appeasing me, like I was not that good back then. But he started telling me, he didn't tell me like you should be shooting for this, but he was like, you should definitely be shooting for more and get better and get better. But then, it's funny because you were saying like every year your pricing goes up a little bit depending on how your last year was. And my pricing is always changing too. And some people will tell me like you charge way too much. It's like, no, you're just kind of outside of my price bracket now, or I'm outside of your price bracket now. Somebody's going to pay that. And I remember when I first quit my day job, someone from that company was starting a new brand, and I told them my pricing, and it's definitely less than what I charge now. But this person came back to me and said, "Hey, bud, you're charging a little bit too much. Here's what the industry standard is." And he said, "I'm not going to work with you on this price, but here's what other people in the industry are charging." I'm like, dude, I'm not in the supplement industry anymore. Like, I'm going to charge what I want to charge. You can go off on Fiverr or whatever, and you can pay someone $50 to $100 for this bunk ass logo that you've already had problems with. And I was your solution. And so it was just one of those things where, only you are going to know what you're worth. And I'm not going to waste time trying to explain why I'm worth that. I'm just going to walk away from this person who's trying to go, well, you're not worth it. Well, cool, dude.
Yeah. And, pricing for what we do is hard anyway. Just because, like, if I've got, let's say a guy he wants to start up a merch company, he wants to do t-shirts and stuff like that. He's just getting on his feet. you know, maybe he wants a logo and a few designs or whatever, I'm not going to charge him the same thing I'm charging like Netflix, you know?
100%.
Like,
but I've realized too, because I think that's also the biggest question. I've been getting this a lot recently, where I have, you know, that small streetwear brand reaching out and wanting a logo, right, or a design for their shirt. And I understand that if they're only going to print 50 shirts and I'm going to charge them $500, that they're not going to want to pay that design fee, because it's going to take them X amount of t-shirts to make up that price. And they probably have to sell all 50 of those shirts. So then they're not only not going to break even on their investment of the design, but they're also like shooting themselves in the leg to just make money in general from their brand.
Yeah.
So then that's up to you as a designer. Like, if you have time, do you want to just, you know, give them the price that they need and help them, and hopefully they become, you know, successful and remember you in the future, and you know, get more out of it. But, you know, I think if you're going to take on those projects every single time, then you are probably going to be draining yourself a bit more than what you should be or could be moving forward.
Yeah, you got to stay flexible with your pricing too. Like, you know, kind of going off of what Cole is saying, like, just because, like, you know, your pricing is what it is, there's going to be a project that comes across. Like, I just did a project for a friend and I didn't charge a lot because, you know, I got invested into what the job was. This person could be making, you know, like Cole was saying, 50 shirts. And this is just something they're doing as like a fundraiser or whatever. Like, there are going to be projects where you either do pro bono or you're going to cut them a deal. I call them a homie hookup. But there are going to be projects where you're not, it's a passion project. You're not going to be making a lot of money, but those projects are also going to be the most fun projects. You know, you kind of get to have fun.
They have to be. Do not take on a lower budget project that you aren't going to be proud to post on your Instagram. To the fact.
Totally.
Then who's winning in that?
Yeah, exactly. I got to do a little logo kit for a buddy of mine. We used to be roommates, and I got to do this like traditional tattoo style that I love to do that I never really get to do. And, you know, it became fun. It was a passion project and stuff. But
to add on to that, like the Forever Rad thing that you saw earlier on my Instagram, it was kind of one of those deals. This guy's trying to start up a merch company for his son. He's got a 8-year-old son, I think.
I've seen that profile.
And his son's got brain cancer, and so all the proceeds from this merch that he's going to make are going to go towards, you know, paying doctor bills and stuff. And I'm like, I can't charge you anything for this. Like, I would feel like such a piece of shit if I charged $1 to do these designs. So like, I jumped into that project with the thought of like, you know, design has been good to me. It's, you know, made me money and stuff like that. I'm just going to pay this forward to this guy who's having a hard time, you know.
Yeah.
I want to do something good for somebody too. So, you know, and when I told him, I was like, I'm not going to charge you anything. He's like, holy, you know, he had planned on spending quite a bit of money. I was like, use that money to print more shirts then. You know, pay your bills.
That's amazing,
whatever
dude.
you want to do with it. So I don't do that very often. Freelance isn't free, you know what I'm saying?
But sometimes you got to pay it forward, dude. You know, like,
it's one of those, that was one of those just specific instances where I'm like, okay, this is going to be a fun project for me. I'm not going to go
for
crazy.
sure. Yo, everybody watching, go to Forever Rad and buy a shirt, because that's awesome. And also, if everybody else, don't go flooding into Zach's DMs going like, hey, I have
I would love to hear if there's something like that you wanted to like kind of bring this together and like say, you know, a couple of things about your day-to-day desk, or, you know, anything that you really want to talk about on the podcast, Zach.
I don't know. I don't know what to talk about. I didn't have anything prepared.
Yeah, no worries. No worries. I don't want to put you on the spot at all.
So I'll just say, so lately, this whole like working from home thing has really given me an opportunity to kind of step back from what I do every day, and kind of remember the stuff that really matters, like spending time with my family all day long. Like both my kids are doing virtual school, and like I said, my wife's stay-at-home mom, so we've been in the same house every day for over a year, and I've never, we've never had that happen, but it's been so great. Like I feel like we're a lot happier. Everybody's obviously staying healthy because nobody's going to school, getting sick, or going to work and getting sick. I've kind of stepped away, like, from being so just laser focused on my work to being a little more focused on my life. Like last weekend, or 2 weekends ago, I built a shed in my backyard.
Cool.
Like I'm trying to help take care of the yard a little bit better. Like I cleaned my garage out, just these little things that I never did do in the past because I was always focused on, I got to make more money. I got to make more money. Well, that money will be there. Those clients will be there. But like being able to go out and, play catch with Hank, or like take Lil shopping, or whatever she likes to do. It's that kind of stuff that is just really, it's changed my life for such good. Like this whole, and I hate saying that because the coronavirus is horrible and it's affected so many people negatively. But in my particular case, it's really helped with just my life. Like I'm so much happier just being around my family.
Yeah. I know
that's
it's
awesome to hear,
so
man.
much pressure. Yeah.
We've said it a few times in the pod, and we want to tiptoe around the subject because we know that coronavirus has really affected so many in such a negative way. But for some way, somehow, graphic designers have somehow flourished in all of this, whether it be the work from home aspect, or even just like anyone out there who have gotten furloughed or laid off from their job and now has relied on their back burner idea that they wanted to start their whole lives. And that rolled into a lot of new business for us, making logos for startups and whatever it may be. And a lot of those have also been where we make the decision, should we do a little bit of a lower budget project to help out this person? And in the case, it's been a few times for myself. So
Sure.
You're not alone in all of it, I think that another cool thing about PentoolPals is that, we get to hear everyone in their story and, what people are going through across the world. So thanks so much for, sharing your story with us and hopping on.
Absolutely. I'm very grateful that you guys asked me to be on here. I don't know if I expressed it enough, but I'm a big fan of both of you. I've been following you guys for a long time. You're cool dudes. Cam's a chomo, but we can get past that.
And get your Ubers. Woo!
Get your Uber. Woo, baby.
I'm going to just act like I know exactly what you guys are talking about and go,
yeah, man. Zach, thank you so much for being on the show. PentoolPals is something that we get to do just to kind of, build friendships and, hear other designer stories and their journeys and stuff like that. And it's, it's been a super pleasure having you on. Everyone watching, go hit up Zach, go follow him, Newton Design Company. And again, thank you for being on. Thank you for being a pal.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
And anyone watching, let us know in the comments what you'd like to hear from us next. Try to get involved in the podcast. We'd love to see anyone's artwork who would love to be involved with the podcast. Get involved with Pal of the Week. We're going to put a questions bar in our story. So make sure to, send us a message about your likes, dislikes, you know, who you want to hear from us next, get involved, whatever it may be. But thanks for being a pal.
Thanks for being my pals.
Yeah.